Yeah. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining today's Salesforce Velocity training from SVTechsoft. Okay. Okay. Our trainer will be take over for the today's demo session. Dilip. Okay. I give an host to you. Now you can start your demo.
Thank you, Kishore. All right. Just a moment. Just a moment.
Hello. Yeah. Sorry, Dilip. Is there any problem? Hello.
No. I'm just sharing my screen. Yeah. No, Kishore. I am just sharing my screen.
Okay. Yeah. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining. Today we'll discuss about velocity. So how we are going to use velocity in Salesforce. What exactly is it? So we have been hearing a lot about this. So we'll try to understand why a lot of excitement around this. All right. First of all, to start with, myself, Kishore. I'll be taking over the training from going ahead. So, all right. So our topic today is going to be velocity. We'll try to understand what it is. We'll see how it's going to work. And every time you hear about velocity, you hear a term called industry cloud. So we'll understand what exactly is that, and we'll see what are the advantages and various components provided by velocity. Okay. All right. So even before we start with this, what exactly is velocity? So Vlocity is a company which has started way back in 2016, 2015. So they started like you see, if you go to Salesforce App Exchange, you will see a lot of applications, right? Just like your Android or iOS, you have Play Store and App Store. Salesforce also has App Exchange, where you have any applications that can be built and they can be used, as an add-on to your existing Salesforce organization. So some of them are free, some of them are, like you'll have to buy licenses along with Salesforce, right? Just like your Android Play Store or your iOS App Store. Right? So someone else is going to build an application, and if you like it, you're going to install it. And if you, if they charge for it, you'll have to pay for that, right? So similarly, like this. So Velocity, when they started, the idea behind was to make sure that to actually reduce the amount of code that you use, right? So, and also a lot of built-in stuff, so that ultimately the time you take to build any application for your, user, basically user experience softwares, you'll have a lot of things pre-built. You don't spend a lot of time in building it right from the scratch. So what Velocity has come up is they have started using Salesforce to build Salesforce application, which can be used by other users as well. Other organizations as well. So they wanted to create a managed package so that anyone who wants to use that, they can buy the licenses and install the managed package, and they can start using Velocity. So what exactly is that is? So when they start, that's the idea to make sure that less code or less amount of time in developing. So they have started doing so good that Salesforce acquired them by 2020. Right? It almost became a $1 billion company in I think less than 6 years. Right? So what made Salesforce, buy Vlocity? What was so good about is that. So as I said, Vlocity has come up with this something called managed package, Vlocity managed package, which provides a lot of inbuilt stuff. Right? So we'll try to understand that in detail going forward. So uh, let's talk more about what Vlocity has done using Salesforce. How they have done it. Usually in any cloud platforms, you'll see various kinds of services. So in Salesforce as well, we have those three types of services. The first one is going to be infrastructure as a service. So in which, back in those days when the cloud was not there, well, if you want the software, you need to have storage space, physical storage space, physical servers, physical network, all these things built for yourself and actually require some physical space. And then you're going to build your application, right? So what happened is that using infrastructure as a service provided by Salesforce, what you generally can do is, these are all these things which occupy physical space will be provided by Salesforce, and you're going to use that, and you'll build your own applications and a lot of other things. First one is that. The second one is going to be platform as a service. We'll come back to this in a minute. So the third layer is SaaS, software as a service. Basically, all the Salesforce developers, whoever is working in Salesforce, any of you, right? What you do in a day-to-day business is using the SaaS capability of Salesforce, where you use Salesforce to build a Salesforce platform to build applications to your clients. All right. So they don't have to install anything, and they don't have to maintain the software separately. It doesn't need any physical storage. You just are going to build a software for the customer client, and end users are going to start using it just using the username and password. So that's SaaS capability of Salesforce, which we all in general use. Now, the second layer in between is platform as a service. And you use the infrastructure provided by Salesforce, and just a minute. Are you guys able to see my screen? And
Yes.
am I loud and clear?
Not clear.
All right. Yeah. Perfect. So
Your voice
okay,
was up and down.
am I not clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Your voice was up and down.
Is it fine now? Is it better now?
Little bit.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll try to make this continue. Fine. So the PaaS layer is where we have this platform. All right. Using Salesforce, you are going to build a platform, and you will provide that to developers, and they will use this platform along with Salesforce and build applications to end user. PaaS layer is nothing but where instead of building a software directly to a client, you are going to build a platform that can be used by many others. So just like what we spoke about, the managed packages or unmanaged packages, right? So these are more like applications in your mobiles, right? So Vlocity, is basically using Salesforce to build a platform and providing it to us, and using that platform, we are going to build applications. Ultimately, everything is being done in Salesforce, but it introduces another layer which will be beneficial for you in multiple different ways. All right. So Viva CRM, if you all have heard of it, it's one of the one of the CRM which is a managed package, which is especially into life sciences department. All right. And Vlocity is also another example. So it's basically using Salesforce, using all the Salesforce features, they will build something like triggers or Apex classes, a lot of other things, or a lot of configuration and customization from their end, so that once you install this managed package in your org, you will be able to use all these features, additional features. All right. So we'll discuss more about this. So what has Vlocity done using Salesforce is that, see, anywhere you go, a particular industry is going to behave in the exact same way. What I mean by that is, for example, a telecom company, how do they go into the market, right? What's their behavior? How are they going to build a software which fits their business? For example, if you consider Jio, you're going to buy a SIM card. Either you can go buy online or you can go to a store. And once you buy that, you will be, your SIM card will be activated. And once that is done, you'll buy a plan and that will get activated. And once the plan expires, you keep on doing this, right? The way the telecom industry is going to behave is in this exact same way, right? So that's what Vlocity has identified and started building industry-specific cloud. So just with the example I told, you can see that the behavior is always going to be same for a specific industry. So what Vlocity thought is, why not build many features that are already available? I mean, not already available, many features that can be used across the industry. All right. For example, if you consider Amazon, if you consider Flipkart, their business is same. Basically, e-commerce. They are going to sell all the products online, right? The way they are going to function is same. It's just that each of those has a different UI. Each of those has a different, organization. That's all. But those two are going to work in exact similar manner, right? So to fit that particular business and to build a logic around that, and that's where you have Vlocity coming to picture, which will build a lot of features already. And so that once you install this managed package, you'll get all those features by default, right? For example, you want to you log into Amazon and you buy any product and you will add it into your cart, and basically you'll create an order, right? Even Flipkart, it's the same job. So you need an order object to store all that data. You need an address object to store all the addresses of a particular account. You need an account object to store all the account information, right? You need a products object to store all the products information, right? So data model wise, functionality wise, both are same, Flipkart and Amazon. So you can build a lot of logics, all this. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, someone has a question. All right, we'll continue. If you have any questions, do raise your hand. I'll answer your questions. Right. So the businesses of Amazon and Flipkart are same, right? So you need all these objects, all this data model, which is almost similar in both the cases. Maybe some of the features are going to be different, but that's another case. But most of the features are similar. So that's what Vlocity has done. It has identified that, and it has started creating a managed package with all these functionalities predefined. Not predefined, pre-built, built by them. Once you install that package in your Salesforce, or you are going to start using those features. So they have used Salesforce platform and created these industry-specific clouds. We have, right now 6 clouds that are available and more coming in. Communications, media, entertainment, energy utilities, insurance, health, government. Right. So they have identified these 6 sectors where they can they have built managed packages, which consist of most of the development that has to be done for any project that belongs to this industry. Because in an industry, each and every organization or a company that is part of that particular industry are all going to behave in the exact same manner, almost. And why to start from the scratch? So that's why Vlocity has come up with these managed packages, industry-specific cloud. So that's what actually means by industry-specific cloud. Building data models, product models, and a lot of backend stuff that needs to be automated, that can be automated, all of that provided in a single managed package. All right. Clear? Any questions so far? Anyone has any question? You can let me.
Yeah, I have a question. This is Jerry. So which of the industries would you be covering on this course? Is that communication and insurance, or which ones would you cover?
We'll be covering communications, media entertainment, and energy utilities.
Okay, media, communications, and energy. How about insurance?
Yeah, insurance is going to require additional separate classes. So whoever is interested in insurance will have a separate. Along with this, we'll also provide insurance whoever requires it, basically. Separate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Anyone else has any questions? All right. We are going to deal with all the questions at the end of the session. We'll continue with our session right now. Right. So these are some of the end clients that are using Vlocity in various industries. Right. So major number of clients are basically in CMT, communications, media, and telecom, and insurance and health. So these two cover a large portion of clients that are using Vlocity, and other clouds also are being used, and the data model and everything will be provided accordingly to each of these clients, basically each of these industries. Yeah, in the CMT and insurance and health, both of these clouds are growing larger and larger by the day. For example, recently Vodafone started using it. There are a lot of other companies. Verizon is one of the first customers to start using Vlocity. A lot of UK-based telecom operators, South America, Australia, and North American countries are using Vlocity extensively. Right. Same goes for insurance and health. Right. Now we'll see basically why so many people are, again, see, it's definitely includes cost, right? You have to spend your money on Salesforce licenses. Yeah, you are going to spend your money on buying Salesforce licenses. Plus, you'll need a lot of development costs, which includes, you need to have a lot of developers to build the application. You need to have a lot of testers. You need to have architects, a lot of management tools. So there is a lot of cost involved already. And plus, you're asking me to buy Vlocity product, which again is going to require additional amount to spend to buy the licenses. Why the customers are all, all these clients going all the way and again buying Vlocity licenses? The reason is that, right, first thing is there's this industry specific data model that will be provided. Whenever you buy a Vlocity package, you will have this industry specific data model in that comes along with the package. So what exactly is that? This just was what we spoke about in the previous slide, where each industry is going to behave in the same exact manner, all organizations in that particular industry. So Vlocity has created an industry specific data model. For example, when you consider telecom, right, telecommunications industry, like we have a lot of customers, like Verizon is a telecom operator, Rogers is a telecom operator in Canada. We have Vodafone, Airtel, Jio in India. So all these telecom operators, what they do is they'll have a site, and customers will buy SIM cards or any other products from their site, and they'll give a lot of information of theirs, like address details, their any ID proofs, all these things. They'll finally buy the product, and they'll buy a plan, and once that is expired, they're again going to buy a plan. This keeps on going. right? So to fit in a business model, what you do is, what Vlocity has done is, so as I said, like you'll need order object, you'll need to use product object, order line item, you'll be using account object to hold the details of all the customer information who is using the telecom operators, SIM cards or any products, and like that. You basically need all the logging details, all these things. So to store each of these data, you'll have a data model that is already built by Vlocity. And the best part here is the core of this data model is always going to be the Salesforce data model. So using the Salesforce data model, Vlocity has created a much more larger picture by creating more custom objects, more and more to basically accompany a lot of features, and created an entire data model for each industry. So for a telecom or telecommunications or any of the energy utilities companies, right? They are going to use order object, account, all these things, which are standard Salesforce objects, right? Using the existing Salesforce data model, whatever is required from that, Salesforce has picked, Vlocity has picked them and created additional objects around them. Right? For example, when you're buying a mobile plan during a festive season, let's say the telecom operator wants to give an offer, right? So it needs a separate objects to hold that information, right? You need to you need an object to store the promotion details, like the promo code, how much discount, all these things, the pricing details. You need an object to store the relation between this promo and that particular order, all these things. So Vlocity has come up with this particular extension of the data model of Salesforce. So they keep extending the data model as and I mean, whenever there is a requirement. So it's all built around the Salesforce core data. Right? So there'll be more than hundreds of objects that are built that are created by Salesforce, Vlocity, to make sure that each object or basically each data model is designed to fit in a particular industry. All right. So here you're going to save a lot, because it's not just going to be whenever you try to start with a client, right? For example, you need to build an application for the client. You're not going to directly start and build it. You have to spend a lot of time in, deciding the data model, deciding the architecture, product model. A lot of things goes there, right? A lot of time goes there. So all that is done already. Vlocity has provided all of that for you the moment you install the package. All right. So that's the first thing. Next thing is, in addition to this, Vlocity has come up with another concept where, for example, whenever you talk about Salesforce, a lot of people say that it's only 40% customization and 60% is configuration. But that never actually is true, because as a customer or client requirements go, we'll have to keep extending our application so much. We'll end up using a lot of customization. All right, we end up doing a lot of customization. Eventually, after a few years, the whole application becomes so code heavy. It takes a lot of time to execute all these logics. Again, they need to spend a lot of time to basically update or make changes. All right. So what Vlocity has done here is, why to spend so much time in writing the code? If, for example, I want to show an image in the UI, and along with the text, some text there, and show some pricing. For example, whenever I go to let's say Flipkart or Amazon, there whenever you pick a mobile phone, right, you will see a mobile phone image. You will see the details about that particular mobile phone and all of that. right? So why to build code for that? So it's, if be it Flipkart, be it Amazon, or be it another site, the behavior is same there, right? You drag and you need an image, you need some text to display. Maybe you need this, the styling is going to be different, but ultimately that's what you're doing. So what Vlocity has done is, instead of writing code, we will provide you components that actually are basically, they have built that code for you. All you need is just to pass the parameters, right? So that you don't have to write that logic again and again. Instead, wherever you need to execute certain logic, for example, you need to check a condition. If country is equals to India, then you have to show some data, right? So if you're writing a code, you have to write that if condition, then you're going to write your condition inside the brackets, then the curly braces, you're going to write the logic. If loop is always going to behave that way. So what Vlocity has done is, instead of writing that code, they'll provide you a drag and drop component. You can just, wherever you need a condition, just drag and drop that component. Pass the parameters. Parameters in the sense, what's your condition? So that way, we'll talk in detail about this. We'll see in this session itself, we'll see what are the components, how they are going to behave, all of that, right? So Vlocity has provided a lot of these components, which are going to be completely configurable. So to ensure that you're always going to be using configuration rather than customization, right? This actually we'll discuss about this in a bit. There are a lot of components. When you see that, you'll be really, it actually feels really good to see all those components. There are a lot of UI components. You don't have to write a Lightning component. Instead, you can use Vlocity component, which is called OmniScript, where you drag and drop components. You don't have to write an Apex controller to execute the backend logic. Instead, you can create a Vlocity component, which will execute the same logic for you, and it will be configurable component. So you can just configure what you need. So this way, development becomes much faster. And the better part here is, it's properly regularized. I mean, generalized, you can say. That means whenever you write a code, each developer has a different way of writing code, right? So all that confusion is gone. It's always straightforward. Vlocity has built a code for you and provided you as a configurable component to drag and drop it and provide the parameters or properties for that. That's all. So there is no chance of messing up here or writing your own complex logic for a simple requirement, right? It's always drag and drop, pass the right properties to it. So development becomes faster. Even complex logics can be built using configuration in Vlocity. Right. So to speak more about this, Salesforce has seen a lot of potential in this. All this part which I'm talking about, where you can build a lot of logics or a lot of customization through using configuration. A lot of logics using configuration. So all this part was also part of Vlocity, but Salesforce started seeing a lot of potential in the last 1 year or 2 years. So what they have done is they have separated this entire part and started calling it as Omni Studio. So that whenever you go to your trailheads, you may be seeing this term called Omni Studio integration procedures, Omni Studio data wrappers, Omni Studio, OmniScript. They are nothing but all those components which can be configured. And Vlocity is providing you all of that for you. And Salesforce has now separated that particular package. Earlier, whenever we speak about Vlocity package, it's mainly about the industry-specific data model. Along that, right? Now, a lot of clients who are not from either of these industries. Yeah. we have all these industries which are part of Vlocity. Some of the clients are not part of these industries. They're not using industries. They're using Salesforce. They felt that Omni Studio is actually good for them, where they can reduce the amount of code they have. So they have what Salesforce has done is they have separated this Omni Studio package. Now a lot of clients who are not even part of these industries, like automobile sector or other industries where Vlocity is not there, are buying this package, Omni Studio package, as an add-on. Right. So that's how good it is. We'll discuss in detail, then you'll have a better picture. Right. So the next thing is integrating with other systems become quite easy. Right. You don't have to spend a lot of time to configure. I mean, to do the development. It's quite faster here using Vlocity components. And we are going to use JSON for all the data transfer. There's a lot of data transfer that's going to happen. You will get to know once we start working on Vlocity. So we use JSON format, which is very easy to understand. As part of training, we will talk about JSON. We will try to understand JSON as well. So JSON is very easy to understand, very faster processing, and it's a lightweight language. So we are going to use JSON. Right. And Vlocity provides a lot of features. Right. Here, this slide concentrates mostly on the energy utilities and communication, media, and telecom sector. I mean, there is entirely this set of features are entirely different for insurance and health. Right now, we'll talk about this. So, in all these e-commerce platforms, even your telecom industry also uses this e-commerce platform to sell their products. Right. So in all of these things, especially in the CMT and energy utilities sector industries, there are going to be two different categorizations. One is order capture and one is order management, in which your application that you build should be covering both of these parts. What exactly are those? Order capture is nothing but when you have a website, you are a big telecom industry, let's say, Airtel in India. So you are a random user, you have not used their product until now, you are the first time user. So from the time you enter their website till you create an order, right, till you make the payment and buy some product from them, that entire process is called as order capture, where you as a telecom operator, that service provider, are going to capture all the information from the user and provide the product to the customer. So that's why it is called as order capture. And it needs a website, it needs backend logics, it needs a lot of flows that you need to design. All of that, at least 90% of it can be done using declarative approach, which means nothing but configuration using Vlocity components. Right? You log into Amazon, you see there's let's try to log in just a minute. So I'll just open this Flipkart website, which is an e-commerce platform, right? You see all these product categorizations, which has a first page. So you are going to build a page to make sure that you are going to show all these products, which will involve a lot of code and a lot of API calls to be made to the backend database system, right? You buy a particular product, let's say mobiles. And again, another screen launches where you will be able to see all the mobile phones. Right? I'm going to pick up a specific mobile. Again, another page comes up which shows more details about that product along with the images. Right? Something like this. Right? It will have all the pricing details, all the offers, promotions, and all of this. And as I go ahead with the journey, for example, this button. Yeah. When I proceed with the journey by picking and entering all the details, the next page is going to be login page. If I'm a new customer, I can create a new account for me. If I'm an existing customer, I can log in. Once that is done, it will ask for the address. If it's a new address, I can add. If it's an old address, I can pick from the existing list. And once that is done, it will go to the order review page where it will show all the details of your, whatever you picked until now, the delivery, all these things. And the next page is going to be payment. Once that is done, you'll get an order summary page, right? So irrespective of what you're buying, this is the flow that they have created in the UI. So these are set of screens that are pre-built. I mean, not pre-built, that are built as part of the development, right? So you are going to use OmniScript, Omni Studio components, which are mostly configuration, right? Using which you can build all this journey, which is nothing but your order capture journey, right? This is nothing, all this journey which we just spoke about till the payment, that is called as order capture journey, right? So all of that can be created using, I wouldn't say that 100% like it's going to be configuration, because UI is going to have different, each client is going to have different requirement on the UI. For example, you see Flipkart has this blue and white theme. Amazon has a different one. Another website will have a different one. The text that is going to appear, that is going to be in a different font or format. So all that needs, styling. That's the different case, but the logic that you need to build to display the UI, where the image should come for each and every product, where the details will come, how the details will come, what details will come, all of that you can define. You can basically design the skeleton along with some basic UI customization. All of that can be done using configuration when you use Vlocity. All right. So we'll talk more about that. We are going to discuss about those components which I have been talking about. The next thing is order management. Those who have worked on Vlocity, or not just Vlocity, sorry, any e-commerce platform must be knowing this particular feature, which is basically from the time a user makes a payment or submits an order till the product is delivered to the end customer, all that happens in the background is called as order management. This is the second part of what we discussed. First one was order capture. Second one is the order management. So it will have two different processes: orchestration, decomposition. Right. This is generally for all the most of the e-commerce platforms. Earlier, the problem used to be that to build the order capture journey, you used to rely on a third-party system. It's a React.js, Angular JavaScript, right? Even if it's a Salesforce system, right? You're going to rely on the third parties, or maybe you have to build your community sites in Salesforce, for which you'll have to build a lot of Lightning components, LWCs. Either you rely on third parties, or you have to spend a lot of time in building here in Salesforce. Again, for this order management, you'll have to rely on a third-party system. The benefit of using Vlocity is all at one place. You just buy the license, all of them are here, along with the components which we discussed. Right? There is another thing called EPC, Enterprise Product Catalog, which is nothing but you have, for example, we just saw in Flipkart, millions of products are there. So you need to have a product catalog. Whenever you go to a restaurant, you will see a menu card where you will have all the items listed, right? Similarly, even if you are on e-commerce site, you need to have all the products categorized properly to display to the customer, right? For all the product related stuff, the categorizing, the creating relation between products. For example, whenever you buy a mobile phone, it shows the child products, kind of like the screen guard, the back panel, all these things. You can create all those things. A lot of stuff can be done around products. And again, back in the days when Vlocity was not there, you had to rely on some third-party system. But now Vlocity has created this beautiful component called EPC, not component, basically entire structure, data model, using which you can actually create products and all the logics around them using configuration again. If you have such kind of complex product catalog, you also need to have similar kind of complex pricing. So Vlocity has come up with Vlocity CPQ. There's a lot of difference between the standards. I mean, the Salesforce CPQ and the Vlocity CPQ. It's just that the concept is same. Ultimately, you use to configure, price, and quote. Right? So Vlocity has built customized CPQ in such a way that you can price your products in a most complex way. So Vlocity provides you this feature as well out of the box. And there are a lot of functionalities. For example, whenever you apply a promotion, there is a lot of things that goes in the backend. So that promotion has to be applied or to a particular order. That means you need to create a record in the backend. Right? You need to reduce the price. You need to make a lot of changes in your database. So all of that, again, irrespective of what customer you are, what client you are, you can be Vodafone, you can be Airtel, you can be Verizon, you can be British Telecom. What you're doing here is same. So you don't need to build that logic again separately. Right? So that's where Vlocity has come up with digital commerce and card-based APIs. So whenever there is these kind of functionalities or features that are common across the industry, Vlocity has built the code for you. All you have to do is that call that particular API and provide the parameters. To apply a promotion to a particular order, you need to pass the order ID and promotion ID, and it will take care of everything else, creating all the necessary records and updating everything and all of that. Right? So again, this industry specific data model. So all these things are provided out of the box in Vlocity. Before Vlocity, for each of these things, you had to rely on a third-party system. Now everything is at one place. Right? So that's one thing. And these are the components which I have been talking about. They have segregated into two things, interaction tools and data tools. Interaction tools has OmniScripts and flex cards now. There's a mistake here. It's flex cards, not flex. Right now, these are the components that are majorly being used by everyone. Cards and templates are the old ones, and you will just have a brief idea on that. So OmniScripts are nothing but, actual definition is just creating an interactive guided path to complete a business process. Right? That's an actual definition. But if you remember, just some time back, we went to Flipkart page and we have seen how that entire thing has been built. Right? Each and every page, how that comes up whenever you click on a button, you select something, you choose a product, all of that. Right? So that entire thing is nothing but whatever we have seen there in the Flipkart website just now is the meaning of this definition. It created an interactive guided path to complete a business process there. So you can do that using OmniScript. It is, I'll just show you in the website, Salesforce. So this is OmniScript tab. I'm just opening some random just to give a look and feel of how it exactly look like. Right, yeah, let it load. In the meantime, right, on the right side of the screen, you see yeah, on the right side of the screen, you see I have added a couple of screens which are going to be how you will design your OmniScript based on your requirement. Right, all these things have been done using configuration. Whatever you see on the screen. If you want an image of a mobile phone, you can do that. If you want to add some details next to it, you can do that. All of that using drag and drop features. So main goal of these Omni Studio components itself is that to reduce the amount of code you use. Right. So this is how you can build screens. For example, this is for one particular telecom operator where they want to provide the option of choosing mobile number to user. So this is how that screen looks like. This is the delivery part where they can add the address and delivery details. Right. This simple this screen, basically what you see, this choose your number is a text screen, text component. You just ensure that it is in block letters and you pick a particular size to make it appear like that. So, and then you see this pick new number and keep my existing number. This is nothing but again a radio button made it to appear like this. This is another component which displays all the details from an API call. This is the outcome of an API call. So every time you come to that website, it shows a new set of numbers. Basically, an API call gets executed in the backend. The output you're seeing here in this format. So all of this has been done using configuration, using Omni scripts. So I just wanted to show this. Yeah. So this is how an Omni script designer screen. This is where you design your Omni script. This is not the output. This is where you design. You see, there are under the build here. You see there are a lot of components, actions, display, functions, groups, inputs, all these things. Right? These are all the components that I told about, which you can drag and drop. For example, you need to build a login page where you want to take username and password, right? I'll drag and drop a text field where they can enter the username, and I'll drag and drop a password field. So if it is code, you have to do that masking where every letter you enter becomes a star or a dot. You don't have to worry about that. You just drag and drop this particular field over here, and it's going to take care of that. The masking can be done automatically. We'll talk more about how this screen is, how we can make sure to, configure in a way we want, how to add the UI styling, all of these things. This is just to give an idea of how the screen is going to look like, right? And so that's how your Omni script. Before a year ago, it was mainly all the UI related customization that needs to be done with the Omni script. It used to be done using Angular JavaScript, for which we used to use templates. Now that has been decommissioned. We are not going to use templates anymore. So that's a different story. Now Vlocity has moved from Angular JavaScript to LWC completely. So you don't have to worry about that LWC code. It's just that the architecture or the framework is based on LWC. So all the components that you build for as part of building screens, right? You drag and drop these components, but in the backend, Vlocity takes care of generating an LWC as per your structure that you define. Right. Then comes your data tools. So FlexCats is almost like a similar component to OmniScript, but these are components where which can be used in smaller places. You need in a page, you need a sub component which does some other job. In that case, you can use the FlexCat. Don't worry too much about what's happening here and all of that. I mean, you may not be understanding much of the things over here, but once we start the sessions, then we'll discuss in detail. Right? This is just to give you an idea. Right? Data tools are the ones which handle the backend execution logics. Interaction tools are the ones which handles the UI logics. Data tools execute the backend logics. Like for example, you need to write an Apex class for your Lightning component. The Apex class has to extract some data. You need to perform some logics there. And once that is done, like you need to, you have a for loop, you need to iterate through a list of records, child records, you need to update something, all of these things, right? You need to trigger an email, you need to perform some other, you need to make an API call to some other third-party system. All of that can be done using integration procedures and data wrappers. again, everything through configuration. So whatever your Apex class can do, right? 80% of the job can be done using integration procedures and data wrappers by just simply dragging and dropping. You just have to concentrate on how you build your logic as per your requirement, and everything else will be provided by, Vlocity as a configurable component to you. All right. So that's what Vlocity is. That's how Vlocity does the job for you. So it provides a lot of things, industry-specific data models, a lot of out-of-the-box features which reduce the amount of time you invest developing. And again, wherever you need, any UI-related or any backend related logics to be executed, you have these components. So all of these things come out of the box, which is why so many Salesforce customers are using Vlocity along with Salesforce package. Right. So that's to give a basic idea of Vlocity. That's from me. If you have any questions or anything, do let me know. I hope I try to provide all the information that I can. It's a huge product. We cannot cover entirely in one single hour. So it's just to give a basic idea of what exactly is Vlocity. So we'll discuss in detail about all the components and everything. Whatever has been provided, whatever can be provided by Vlocity out of the box, we'll try to discuss all of that in our actual training sessions. Yeah, Prasanna, you can ask your question.
Yeah, thanks for the info. A couple of questions.
Yeah,
am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. So first question is how much standard Salesforce expertise we need to get hands-on Vlocity? First thing, how much Vlocity CPQ will cover? How much depth?
Yeah.
Third question is what is the market right now? Is it only with the big enterprises who are using the Vlocity? For example, whatever clients that you showed, like a BT or an Airtel and all these guys.
Right.
In that case, the market is very limited, in my opinion. Just wanted to get your thoughts on it. So what will be the prospective opportunities?
Right. So for your first question, you need to have at least basic Salesforce admin knowledge. So, then you can understand the data models and everything that is provided by Vlocity in detail. Just the basic Salesforce admin knowledge and knowing what is what in Salesforce, right? And this, for your second question, Vlocity CPQ is entirely different. It is just that the concept is same, where you use it to ensure that you price a product and in a right manner. So they have customized it in a completely different way. They have their own components built around it. So the concept is same, but the entire product and structure is going to be different. So we'll cover that in our training. It's a much more simplified version of Salesforce CPQ. It's very simple, and what you can do is to basically do the pricing for products in complex ways. That's all. So there are few number of components as compared to your Salesforce CPQ, which is actually again a huge product. You don't need all those things over here. So that's why Vlocity, as per the requirement, as per the need, they have ensured that the CPQ is customized in such simple way, right? And the third thing is, so yeah.
Understood. I have a little, sorry to break you, but when you talk about high level, or they customized the Salesforce CPQ and made it much simpler, but someone should also have Salesforce CPQ understanding.
So that's
not needed.
Yeah. So that's what I meant. It's not sales. The concept is the same, where we use CPQ. CPQ is nothing but configure price code. The concept is same. So Vlocity has created. There is no relation between Salesforce CPQ and Vlocity CPQ at all. They are two completely different enterprises. Vlocity CPQ is entirely different. It's a different product. It has its own objects and everything. So you don't need to have any Salesforce CPQ knowledge because that's a different product. This is a different product, but their purpose is same. That's all.
Mhm.
Right. For your third question, Salesforce is doing a lot of effort actually to increase the market for industries. Going forward, they are going to concentrate more on these industries. So maybe the term velocity may go away. Instead, they are going to use this industries term. So it's like they don't want to be calling it as velocity, which looks limited. Instead, they want to build these kind of packages more and more. So that's why you might be hearing financial services cloud coming up, retail market, consumer goods, net zero cloud. A lot of other clouds are coming up. Basically, what Salesforce is trying to do is, if I just say velocity is only dealing with, let's say, these 6 different industries, it has, obviously what you said is right, it's going to have a limited market. So they want to expand the scope. So that's why they are creating many more industries, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is they separated this Omni Studio package completely. That means if someone buys a communications or energy utilities or insurance velocity package, they are going to have all that data model along with this Omni Studio. But you may not be from any of these industries. You are from an entirely different, as we talk about life science industry, a pharmaceutical company or a automobile company, but you are more interested in Omni Studio components. So that's why Vlocity has created an entirely separate Omni Studio package now. So those who wants to use these components can use Omni Studio. So overall, they are trying to expand the market for Vlocity, and there are actually hundreds of clients that are started to use more and more industries right now.
Okay, so in our training,
Mhm.
we are going to concentrate more on velocity industries or on the Omni Studio.
We are going to break it in half. In the first initial phase, in the initial half, we are going to concentrate mainly on the Omni Studio part because that's one of the major things. That's a separate package now. So you most probably you may be seeing in every Salesforce project, you may be seeing Omni Studio. Maybe in a couple of years, Salesforce is making a lot of changes around that. So you may be seeing this Omni Studio. So we'll concentrate in the initial few days. We'll concentrate on the Omni Studio, and once that is done, we are going to concentrate on these things, which will cover 4 different industries, 3 different industries. Sorry, energy utilities, communications, media, and telecom.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, a few. I mean, insurance is also an exciting product, but there is. I mean, those who are into CMT will also know Omni Studio. So that's why if there is an insurance project, people from CMT industry who know CMT industry also can work on insurance because it's just a data model change. That's all. So very few are. I mean, few people usually come to us asking for insurance. So if anyone needs insurance, we'll try to give a basic idea on what exactly is the data model and how the product looks like. So, but our main concentration is going to be around these first 3 industries.
I have one. Sorry, maybe I'm taking others' time. My last question. I saw earlier it used to be something called a financials and insurance. They removed financials, is it?
No, they have created a separate cloud for that, which is financial services cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they are actually adding a lot of clouds. I think, as I said, this retail consumer goods cloud has come up recently. Net zero cloud, which is picking up a lot of pace. Again, that is new. So they are adding more and more industries. I think it's Salesforce is going to concentrate more on that going forward.
Got it.
Yeah. Yep. Any others have a question? maybe it's a lot of information in a single hour, but you can try to get a gist of it. Basically, we are trying to understand a product. So just idea, this session is just to provide the idea of what exactly Vlocity is and what it can do. We'll discuss in detail about all these things in the training. So you have any questions related to Vlocity, what we spoke in the past 1 hour?
Hey, hi, Raja here. One question I have actually.
Yeah. Hello.
Is placement assistance also provided after completion of this training program?
Raja, I'm not the best person to answer. The other Kishore who is the host of this training, you can try to get in touch with him, so he'll be able to provide you.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Just you can send WhatsApp message to 93941171119. Please contact us. We'll text out further details.
Okay.
Anything related to training, let me know. I can talk about that. Any finance related or placement related or any other things you want, you can contact of this number.
How long it will be taken?
It's going to be around 30 to 35 classes, and each class is going to be 1.5 hour long, 1 to 1.5 hour long in between that. So overall, it can be around 40 hours, 40 to 45.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the deployment part covered during the program, like IDX?
Yeah, I mean, yes, that is another tool specifically designed for Vlocity. So we are going to cover that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And how much confident you will get on Vlocity?
Depending on how much you practice, because there is going to be a lot of configuration. It's like everything you do in Vlocity is going to be configuration. So you cannot remember all of that. So it depends completely on your practice. But yeah, whatever we provide, it's going to be, I mean, if you practice well, you can clear the certifications and you can clear interviews as well.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Manohar, and I have one question. Do we get the org to practice? And
Yes. Yeah.
after the class, will I be getting the recording so that I can go through it again?
Yes. You will have the recordings and you will have the org to practice.
And what will be the validity of that org? Is there any validity?
You can have it for 6 months.
Thank you. Yeah.
And what was the class timings?
You can speak to the other Kishore. He can give you all the details. I mean, we usually make sure that whoever comes wants to join the training, depending on the timings, we'll try to adjust it. But yeah, most probably it's going to be around 7:30 in the evening, same time we started it. Anyway, we can talk about it. You can speak to Kishore and he'll be able to provide more details.
Okay, thank you.
One more question from my side.
Yeah, Kavita.
I'm Lakshmi. Will you give training on Salesforce admin before starting Vlocity?
No, that is entirely different thing. We are going to concentrate only on Vlocity.
Okay.
Again, if you need Salesforce admin related, yeah, speak to Kishore because this platform is mainly for Vlocity.
Okay. It is compulsory, before Vlocity, we have to have knowledge on Vlocity admin, no?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So when is the batch starting?
Most probably it should be on this Monday. Sometime next week we are going to start.
Okay.
Sorry, Deepak. I have one more question. On the admin part, do you really need in-depth knowledge on the security and all of these aspects? Or you're talking about only objects and the...
Yes. Yeah, you need to have an understanding on objects, relationships, fields, a little bit on the permissions, like object level permissions, FLS, all these things. Because when you, it's like Vlocity is ultimately built on Salesforce. Vlocity has to you cannot bypass all the Salesforce rules. So if user do not have access to a particular field, even if you try with a velocity component, the user will not have access to that field. So you have to have an idea of on basic idea on all these things, like so that you can debug yourself whenever there is an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any kind of real life project to enforce the learnings?
Right. So what we are going through is for whenever we are discussing about, let's say, Omni Studio components, we'll try to build a simple, Omni script, which will have all these components that we discussed can be used. Right? We will try to use all these things. We'll try to create a mini project for each and every part which we discussed. Like for all the Omni Studio, we'll have a mini project, and for all this.
Okay, and this will involve the order capture and the EPC as well, right?
Right.
And the order orchestration and all the stuff that you showed you. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. All right, if no other questions, we'll drop off, and yeah, you can speak to Kishore for any other questions, any technical questions. Yeah, you can ask me now. Otherwise, anything else you can ask Kishore. Yep, hope to see you in training. We'll have good learning there.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining for today's demo. We'll be stopped for this. Okay, if you have any questions or any further clarification, please contact SV TechSoft.
Yeah,
Thank you, David.
reach China, because they're not very responsive when I try to contact them on WhatsApp. It takes like a whole day to get back to me.
Yeah, sure. Can you please WhatsApp to this number, the mentioned number?
Okay, let me just take a note of this.
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks for your time. Okay, if you have any questions or need any clarification, please send an email or you can send message in WhatsApp. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Kishore. Thanks for your time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Bye.